It's pretty well known that the Earth is in trouble, that there is a climate crisis. And interestingly enough, mindfulness can help with that. Hi, everybody. My name is Ted Meissner, and welcome to Mindfulness Voyage. Glad you could be here, especially for a conversation today, which is such an important one. As we know, the world is in peril with climate change, and mindfulness can help with that. Just the awareness capacity that one builds through mindfulness practice can make a very big difference about the choices we make from day to day to perhaps save our planet. Let's talk with my friend Bruce now and learn a little bit more about it. And before we do that, please be sure to like and subscribe if you get something out of this. Every time you do that, it helps someone else to find these. Thanks so much, and let's have our conversation.
Our guest today is Bruce Barrett. Bruce, welcome to the podcast. Good to see you.
Hi, Ted. Thanks.
So we had the opportunity to meet a few weeks ago, a month or so ago at a retreat, and I knew right then, after just the first few moments of speaking with you, that I wanted to have you on this podcast, particularly talking about the work that we're going to today. But before we get into that, I'm wondering if you might just share a little bit about your background for those who might be watching this and don't know who Bruce Barrett is.
Sure. I'm a white male American, grew up in Wisconsin, spent some time in the Central America. I'm a board certified family physician. I have a PhD in anthropology. I'm a professor in the family medicine and community health department at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, long-term researcher, activist. I dabble in mindfulness.
Great. Thank you for that overview. And our topic for today is mindful climate action. And I know that's an entire program, and there's much more information for us to unpack on that today. I'm wondering if you'd just say how that got started and what it is.
Sure. I think it got started when I realized, I don't know, maybe 12, 15 years ago that climate change, the climate catastrophe, global heating is the greatest threat to human health. And as a physician and a person who cares about other people, I had to do something about it. We really didn't get going very far until about 6 or 8 years ago when we won a local grant contest and started the programs, created a website, came up with some videos, did a couple of pilot studies. So it came from caring about people and wanting to get involved with doing what we can about climate change.
Great. And what is the program itself? It is an 8-week program. Is that correct?
Originally, yeah. So we modeled this on MBSR, John Kabat-Zinn et al. It follows a ecological theme sequence. So it starts out after you get your introduction to mindfulness and maybe body scans or some basic stuff. It starts out with a theme of air. And so people practice breath meditation, breath awareness in the same session, in a group session, that they learn about air quality. We use short videos. So in this case, we use a 10-minute video by Tracy Holloway, who is one of the world's premier air scientists. And she talks a little bit about particulates and ozone and greenhouse gases and how people can improve their health while reducing their impact on the environment. And the next week is water. We follow basic needs. You need oxygen. If you're deprived of it, air for 10 minutes, you won't survive. The next need is water. And so we do water meditations. We learn about the hydrological cycle, about the importance of clean water, how that ties us all together. The third week is food. And we learn about the impacts on the environment of different types of food production, and the joyous fact that the healthiest diet is also the most sustainable diet. The lowest carbon diet is also the one that will reduce our mortality risks and so on. So we learn about plant-based diets. The next week is movement, and we learn about how walking and biking are good for the mind, good for the soul, good for the body. Driving around in cars with their tailpipe emissions, not so good. We learn about energy production, and how we can be healthier and happier with low carbon lifestyles. We do a week with nature immersion. So we learn about appreciation of nature and how to use your senses to appreciate and treasure the beautiful natural systems in this world. And we always end up with a week on ethics, which is really the why, the value. Why do you want your health? Why do you want to help other people? How do you want to go about doing it? The balance of goodness in the world.
I'm curious about what some of the potential outcomes are for people who've taken this and learned, as you said, and described here. There's a lot of very good information about it, but there's also practice-based stuff that's included to really help land this. I wonder if you'd heard from participants what some of the feedback that you've gotten about the program.
You know, they tell us about it. I haven't yet completed that much rigorous research. We've published 8 papers based on just a few pilot trials, mostly theory, some evidence. But we do talk to people and we do qualitative interviews afterwards. And I'm impressed that different people get different things out of it. We haven't done any long-term follow-up, but shortly after people take the course, they might come away and say, hey, I'm doing this regularly. You know, I'm enjoying nature regularly, or I've improved my movement. We're really aiming at the co-benefits where you can improve your personal health while reducing your carbon footprint. And we've done a little bit of measurement, like with GPS-enabled smartphones, and we've been able to capture minutes and miles walked, biked, driven. People have taken pictures of their odometers in their cars and texted them to us, and they give us the make, model, and year of their car so we can calculate a carbon footprint there. We are, with their permission, of course, everything is with permission. We can download electrical gas bills and take a look at that, or water use. We've assessed diet using the ASA24, which is the one of the best dietary intake assessment tools developed within the National Institutes of Health. So we've done some measurements, but we haven't really done a randomized trial, and we really haven't done any long-term follow-up. So we just have individual testimonies of people saying, hey, this is wonderful. It helped me with X or Y or Z. People seem to get different things, you know, based on where they're at in life.
Now, you mentioned 8 papers, and for those who are listening to this or watching this, I will have a link to the webpage where this information can be found. But I'm wondering, Bruce, as you think about those different papers, what are some of the interesting things for you that you've uncovered during the research, or things that were validating of what you were already expecting to find?
Well, it really is mostly the testimonials, people getting excited about it. So we designed it originally to help people reduce carbon footprint with health and happiness as kind of a secondary thing. And we did it in pilot in the community. And we tended to get people who are interested in learning mindfulness, or people who are already environmental activists or involved. But for the last 3 years, I've been doing it as a group medical visit with patients with diagnoses. So because mindfulness is helpful with lots of different things, we can charge health insurance and give people assistance in stress reduction and physical activity planning and dietary intake, whether they have cardiovascular disease or insomnia or anxiety or depression or chronic pain. So people who need help with their own personal health, and we can justify it as a medical intervention, people come and do that. And they, of course, have different short-term needs and plans than people from the community who are coming in to learn meditation or coming to learn how to be a better eco-activist.
I'm curious if you've been getting any pushbacks on any of this, or if there are some common difficulties that crop up that people run into as they start to engage with mindfulness, and particularly the practicalities of climate change.
Yeah, so you've mentioned this is called Mindful Climate Action, which is correct, and that's what the website says. However, before taking it into the clinic, into the medical system, I changed the name of the program to Mindful Eco Wellness: Steps to Healthier Living. I have found that using the 2 words climate action is really off-putting to a certain sector of America. People who love the environment, people who want to be healthy, but those words just don't quite fit with their worldview. So we removed those, and we maybe downplayed the climate catastrophe a little bit and upplayed the personal health benefits, but really didn't change the structure of the curriculum. And we haven't had complaints so far.
Good. Good. I'm glad to hear it because, as you said, and I agree, my background's in biology. So this kind of stuff is, yeah, if we don't have a planet that can sustain our form of life, that's going to be kind of a problem. Mm-hmm. And we've been doing things to, well, trash our own living space for a very long time. And we need to take some action to change that. So just having that raised awareness that eco-wellness can be really helpful. Bruce, just to finish up, I'm wondering if there's anything else you want to share with the viewers about your work or maybe just about this topic, anything at all?
Yeah, one thing, one large survey I saw a couple of years ago suggested that upwards of 2/3 of Americans had some level of climate dysphoria, worry, climate anxiety, worry about the future, worry about the bad things that they're learning that are going on right now. And my own take is that there is a lot to be afraid of. There is a lot to be worried about. And the best way, or at least one of the best ways of responding to that, is taking action, getting involved, doing stuff. It turns out that between 60 and 75% of the greenhouse gas emissions are directly or indirectly coming from choices made at the individual and household level. So it isn't them out there that's causing the climate catastrophe. It's us in here. It's all of us. And you, at one level, you can be, feel really bad that you have a carbon footprint, but at another level, you can feel empowered that you can do something about it. Just like you can do something about your own health, your emotional wellness, your social health, your family and friends. And by taking that activist approach and taking responsibility, accepting reality as it is, and getting involved, all the way up to protesting or writing letters or just at your own personal level, going for a walk, enjoying nature, choosing to fix something rather than buy a new one, eating a carrot rather than a hamburger. Each of those little actions adds up. And I just would encourage everyone to get involved, be happy, and do the best we can.
Thanks, Bruce. And I think that's such an important aspect of this, especially with so much going on, the idea of, I can't fix this. There's nothing I can do. Hearing that, no, in fact, most of it is coming from each one of us in our home lives. That's great. That's a wonderful thing because that's where we have the most amount of choice in how we respond to what it is that's going on. So thank you for that. Very much appreciated. Our guest today, Bruce Barrett. I will have some links in the place where links are found on these podcasts. Bruce, thanks so much for being here. Good to see you.
Thank you, Ted. Bye-bye.
Really appreciate Bruce's time and expertise because we're facing a great challenge, perhaps the biggest challenge of our age, that of the climate crisis. And mindfulness can make a difference. Before I let you go, please do like and subscribe. Again, that does help others to find this podcast. And remember, every moment you have a choice. Just make it the best you can. And I'll see you next time on Mindfulness Voyage.